Hello, I am Woodman, and this little video is about one of the new features of WoodStepper 2.0, namely the Chordulator. So let's first stop the one which is going, and let's do a reset to default to make sure we have nothing left. So the first thing we do is go to Sequencer Source and choose the Chordulator. The Chordulator consists of two parts, which you can see here. One is the analysis part, and the other determines what is being done once the chord notes are found. So the analysis part is looking at audio coming in into WoodStepper. That can be track recorded audio or live audio, whatever. And the analyzer tries to find the notes in a chord played in the piece of audio coming into WoodStepper. So I'm making this video with Logic because that's a little bit easier for me, and my son recorded some chords here with his guitar. If you want to hear if something is coming in, we first have to turn down the dry wet, otherwise you won't hear anything. If we now start Logic, yeah, okay, we have audio coming in. So what do we do then? We don't really want to hear it, but we first have to arm the Chordulator. As soon as it's armed, we can play with the threshold, also with the range here in which it will look for notes. The threshold has to be set to a level so that audio is getting above this threshold. So if we now start the audio, you should see that the analyzer starts finding notes here. Yes, indeed, it found a chord. So let me switch off the arm button because we want to keep those notes. And now that we have them, you can of course keep analyzing and keep running for further notes, but for the moment we'll keep or we'll stick to those notes. Now, what are we going to do with those notes? Right now you don't hear anything because the sequencer is not running. The first mode selected here is Arpeggiator. So what that is doing is it will send the three notes in sequence to VCO1. So let's listen to that, how that is sounding. Start. Okay, as you see, the arpeggio mode is not synchronized with the BPM, the beats per minute, or the steps. It has its own speed control. If you want the notes to be sent or synchronized with the step, that mode is also available, and that's called, or that's why we have the step arpeggiator here. If I select that, you get a similar thing, but now you will hear only a different note each time another step is reached. So let's listen to that. Okay, in this case you probably want to speed it up a little bit. You can do that by either changing the BPM, the beats per minute, or you can choose here, for example, we'll choose 16th. If we now start it, we get something more interesting. Okay, what else do we have here? We have also an arpeggiator stereo mode, which is similar to the first one, only in this case it also switches each time or sends each time one note to the left channel, the other one or the next one to the right channel, etc., which really gives a nice stereo effect. Let's listen to that. The only constraint here is that we have to set the stereo in mode to true stereo, which we do here. If we now listen to that. Now, first let's put this timing back to what it was to get a comparable result. Okay, what else do we have? We have note 1, 2, and 3. Pretty straightforward. If we choose note 1, only the first note will be sent to VCO1. Yeah, that's of course quite boring. The reason why I added this is that, or the idea I had in mind here is that you can use 3 different sequencers, each with their own note. You could have the same correlator notes in sequencer 2, but only use note 2 there, which means that the 3 notes can be used in totally different ways if you change the parameters in the different sequences or set it to totally different values. The timing could be different, the filters, anything could be different. That's basically why you have them here. Now the last mode is note 1, 1, 2, 3 are sent to oscillator 1, 2, 3 or VCO 1, 2, 3. So far, all the notes were sent to oscillator 1. And also new in WoodStepper 2 is that I added 2 more VCOs, which normally in a normal mode just follow oscillator 1. So let's just quickly enable them. Or they follow oscillator 1, or you can add octaves up or down. Of course, you can change the waveform, different modulations, the level, that can all be set individually. Now, if I would choose, for example, let's first listen to the Arpeggiator note again. With the 3 oscillators enabled, that would give us something like this. Okay, so now you hear the 3 VCOs working, all using the same notes with octaves up or downs. But the last mode, that was what we were going to explain. In this case, and that's the only one where the 3 VCOs get an independent note instead of following VCO1. What do we get here? Well, you should get a kind of a chord ID. Of course, so far, let's, for example, take Step Arpeggiator as an example. Of course, so far everything has been quite boring. We can now start to add some of the effects here. For example, let's add a little bit of delay. I just will start it so that you can hear it on the spot. Or take one of the other modes, Arpeggiator, for example. Of course, now we get a lot of notes, the Arpeggiator, and then the delays. If we would take note 1, for example, get something more simple. You can start to do some panning. Let's move that one and the delay a little bit to the right. Of course, we want to get some different melody there, so why won't we switch on the pitch? For example, we'll first, well, just let me select all steps. We'll set it to random so that we get some different pitch, all based, or pitch shifting, all based on the note we get from the Chordulator. Of course, as the word itself does say for itself, random is quite chaotic. Let's limit the scale a little bit. That will limit the pitch scale, but if we also want to make sure we're staying in the same key as what the Chordulator found, we can set the note here, and that should be a little bit more musically consistent. Also make the notes slightly shorter. So you can keep turning the knobs and playing with the effects, but this should give you an idea how to use the Chordulator. A few more final notes here. The Chordulator notes are stored if you would save a preset. Of course, you could have different notes for each sequencer if you enable the Chordulator in each sequencer. But of course, if all sequencers are armed and you feed audio into WoodStepper, all the notes for the sequences will be the same, of course, because there is only one audio stream coming into WoodStepper. For the rest, the destination can be set differently per sequencer. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'll try to make a few more. And if you have any questions, feel absolutely free to contact me. Bye bye.